Sustainable and Clean Cooking, Accelerating the Energy Transition in African Kitchens. Et le panel est modéré par M. Lewnis Boudaoui.
C'est un véritable honneur pour moi de parler devant vous aujourd'hui. Je tiens à remercier tous les participants et tous les organisateurs de cet événement particulièrement intéressant pour le développement durable. Si je suis ici devant vous aujourd'hui, c'est pour adresser la question de la cuisson propre, qui est un thème qui malheureusement n'est pas suffisamment mis en valeur et qui pourtant a des répercussions assez dramatiques à l'échelle du continent africain en particulier et du monde en développement en général. La cuisson propre, qu'est-ce que c'est? Ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que dans les pays les moins développés, en particulier dans les pays africains, la majorité de la population continue de se servir du bois et du charbon de bois pour la cuisson. Et ça, même si ça peut paraître anodin, ça a des impacts absolument dévastateurs, non seulement sur l'environnement, mais sur la santé et sur l'égalité des genres. Pourquoi? Le bois et le charbon de bois, quand ils sont utilisés pour la cuisson, contribuent à la déforestation. Ce qui, et on verra grâce à nos panélistes qui viennent notamment des pays du Sahel, a un impact majeur sur la désertification, qui est un fléau que nous devons tous combattre ensemble. En plus de cela, cuire avec du bois et du charbon de bois émet des fumées très toxiques, qui est une cause de mortalité très importante, en particulier pour les femmes et pour les enfants, qui sont dans cet environnement toxique à la maison. Et enfin, le fait de cuisiner avec du bois et du charbon de bois est extrêmement inefficace. Cela force les femmes, qui sont généralement chargées de la cuisine, à passer des heures et des heures au fourneau, dans des conditions difficiles, et étant bloquées à la cuisine, ne pouvant pas se donner la possibilité de développer leurs propres compétences économiques, sociales et d'indépendance. Et donc pour toutes ces raisons-là, la cuisson propre est un sujet fondamental, et si nous sommes ici aujourd'hui, c'est pour aider à trouver des solutions, déjà à écouter les différents pays et leurs perspectives, et comment est-ce que l'on peut collaborer ensemble pour régler cette situation. Donc j'ai l'honneur d'inviter de nombreux panélistes de renom aujourd'hui pour témoigner de ces défis. Je vais commencer et je vais alterner entre l'anglais et le français puisque certains de mes panélistes sont anglophones et d'autres sont francophones. So I will start by inviting His Excellency Mr. Thato RAPHAKA, who is the Director of Southern Africa for the Vakana Alliance and who was, until very recently, the Permanent Secretary for the Vice President of the Republic of Botswana. Mr. RAPHAKA, I'd like to invite, j'ai l'honneur à présent d'inviter Monsieur Abdellahi OULD BABAH, qui est donc un chargé de mission pour le secrétaire exécutif du CILSS, le comité inter-État pour la lutte contre la sécheresse au Sahel. À présent, je souhaite inviter Monsieur Ali Nadif, donc président du groupe Al-Mahri, un grand conglomérat tchadien, et le vice-président du patronat du Tchad. We are also expecting Her Excellency the Honorable Minister LUMUMBA, who I don't need to introduce anymore since she was a prominent speaker today during this meeting. She is currently held up with a high-level meeting, and she will do her best to join us as soon as she is available. Her team is here, and they will guide her to the panel as soon as she can avail herself. And with no further ado, I would like to invite for a keynote speech on this panel, Her Highness Princess Sophia WOLKONSKY, the chairwoman of the Vakana Energy Alliance. Princess Sophia.
Thank you, Lewnis. Your Excellencies, Honorable Minister for General Duties of Uganda, Honorable Minister of Environment and Sustainability of Development of Mauritania, distinguished guests, esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to join you here in Algiers for the second edition of the Sustainable Economy Forum, and I extend my sincere appreciation to the hosts whose hospitality and generosity of spirit vividly reflect the cultural richness and dynamism of Algeria. The remarkable efforts undertaken to convene such a distinguished assembly of international guests and eminent experts including diverse perspectives from across Africa and beyond, demonstrates not only a commendable openness, but a strategic vision. It is through such insight that we may craft truly informed and exemplary strategies that will serve not only Algeria, but the entire continent, and generating advancements to the point of which many countries outside of Africa will be able to learn from respectively. We gather here today at a time when the world is confronted with challenges of exceptional complexity and circumstances that have, in many respects, tested our collective resilience and our trust in a compassionate, equitable future. While such moments may at times erode our confidence, it is precisely then that our commitment to progress must be steadfast. In contemplating the topic before us, clean cooking, we are reminded that energy transition is far more than a technical undertaking. We are each participants in an interactive, interdependent system whose vitality depends on the cohesion of its parts. Our responsibilities, therefore, is to approach these questions through the lens of systemic understanding, recognizing that any intervention inevitably echoes across social, cultural, economic, and environmental spheres. Cooking, perhaps more than any other daily practice, embodies this truth. It is an expression of cultural identity, a medium through which families convey nourishment, tradition, and a profound sense of belonging. It is within this intimate space that the notion of ownership truly takes root, a conviction that any transformation must be not only technical sound, but culturally resonant. Indeed, it is often observed that clean cooking initiatives fail not on account of technical inadequacy, but because they neglect to honor the lived experiences and values of communities which they are actually designed to serve. Thus, the power of clean cooking lies in its potential to connect diverse imperatives: health, gender equity, environmental stewardship. It is for this reason that inclusion must not be regarded as a peripheral consideration, but embraced as a central pillar for all the efforts. At Vakana Alliance, we advocate for human-centered approaches to clean cooking, of which one that listens and co-designs with the communities and through collective engagement integrates the wisdom embedded in local practices. As we embark on today's discourse, I extend an invitation to each of us to share our perspectives and to truly envision with courage the possibilities before us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Highness, for this very inspiring keynote speech. I really would like this panel to be very relaxed. I want people to really share their experience and speak from the bottom of their heart. I think you made an excellent point when you stressed the fact that clean cooking and cooking in general is really something that touches the soul of each and every one of us, and I do want this session to be a soulful one. So I will start with our colleague, Mr. Thato RAPHAKA. I'm very pleased to know Thato already for a couple of years. He was actually quite instrumental in helping us at the OPEC Fund to deepen our understanding of the clean cooking challenges that are specific to his country, Botswana. So I would like to give him the opportunity to share this with the audience now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and let me premise my discussion from the standpoint that a good number of people have really talked about issues of environment this morning. People have talked about sustainable economic development. People have talked about the need to ensure that we embrace the socio-cultural issues as and when we discuss issues around sustainable development. Now, at this point, we are going to talk about clean cooking. I think we really need to go back a little bit and ask ourselves, what do we mean by this clean cooking? To what extent does it affect, or rather, to what extent is the environment affected in the manner in which we handle the kind of, or the conventional cooking methods in our countries? When we talk of these issues, the main people who are affected are the people in the rural areas. And in the urban areas, of course, we do see people living in the low-income areas being adversely affected. They are affected because on a daily basis, they have to go and collect firewood, that is, if it is available anyway. They have to go and collect firewood for cooking purposes. Or they may be using charcoal, biogas, or whatever method that they may be using. But the fact of the matter is that, especially in the rural areas, we see a lot of cutting of trees and increased desertification. And we are seeing the increase in the invasive species of trees that we are not used to. We are seeing the depletion of the natural resources, the resources that we have previously used for medicinal purposes and other very good uses anyway. And we are seeing our people not being meaningfully involved in tourism that they can actually get from the natural resources that will be closer to them. These are the things that we are grappling with, and these are the things that we really need to understand exactly how they do affect the clean cooking. And that is why this concept of clean cooking is being introduced, and we need to understand how best we can ensure that it is facilitated. And I know when we talk of clean cooking, but maybe that is something that we can talk of as we move on. So I really just wanted to introduce my subject on the basis of that, or looking at the key issues that we have in our countries. And this is not only affecting Botswana, I want to believe many other countries in Africa are equally affected. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. RAPHAKA. Je vais maintenant parler en français pour présenter mon prochain panéliste, donc Monsieur Abdellahi OULD BABAH. Donc nous nous sommes rencontrés bien plus récemment dans le cadre d'une table ronde que nous avons menée ensemble à nos locaux, donc au fond de l'OPEP pour le développement international à Vienne. Donc Monsieur OULD BABAH joue un rôle critique pour la mobilisation de ressources de la part de nos institutions partenaires, en particulier émanant du Golfe. Il nous en dira un petit peu plus, mais de nombreux ministres est très représentés, je crois 8, de nombreux pays, donc du Conseil permanent inter-État pour la lutte contre la sécheresse au Sahel, qui compte 13 pays membres. Donc, Monsieur OULD BABAH, si vous voulez bien nous en dire un peu plus sur le CILSS, sur vos activités, et éventuellement sur la table ronde et l'importance des partenariats. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. D'abord, je tiens à remercier les organisateurs, en particulier mon frère Skandar et ma sœur Narima, pour m'avoir invité à cet important forum en Algérie qui est dans mon cœur et dans le cœur de tous les Mauritaniens. Le CILSS, ça a été un peu évoqué ce matin par le secrétaire exécutif. Le CILSS, c'est une organisation qui est une réponse en fait au problème de la sécheresse qui s'est passé en 1973, où il y a eu des millions de décès à cause de cette sécheresse. Et d'abord, ça a été créé par les 6 pays de la bande sahélienne, de la Mauritanie au Tchad, et progressivement, 7 autres pays se sont joints dans le site et dans les zones côtières par intérêt à l'expertise qu'a développé le CILSS et aussi par anticipation au mouvement de la désertification vers le sud. Le CILSS, c'est 3 sites, le site secrétariat exécutif au niveau de Ouaga, puis l'Institut de Sahel à Bamako qui s'occupe de la recherche agronomique et population développement, et le centre Agrimet à Niamey qui s'occupe des aspects de des changements climatiques, des prévisions climatiques, de la formation. Les CILSS travaillent sur 5 axes, 5 programmes majeurs. D'abord, la sécurité alimentaire et nutritionnelle, la gestion des ressources naturelles et les changements climatiques, la maîtrise de l'eau, les aspects population et développement et les marchés, les flux des marchés transfrontaliers. Récemment, en 2020, nous avons fait une réforme profonde en audit institutionnel et un nouveau plan stratégique 2050 a été défini et décrit. Et à la suite de ça, nos chefs d'État ont décidé que le CILSS doit diversifier ses partenaires. Et donc c'est là où ça m'amène à l'autre partie de votre question, qui est donc qu'est-ce qui s'est passé à Vienne, où nous avons amené ce plan stratégique, plus 6 projets qui concernent tous les pays du Sahel, avec les 13 pays représentés et une dizaine de ministres, dont les ministres des Finances et les ministres de l'Agriculture et de l'élevage pour certains pays. Et nous nous réjouissons des résultats où nous avons obtenu 50% des financements déjà, des engagements fermes, principalement par la BADAOUI, qui c'est autour de 1 milliard de dollars, et aussi la BID et le Fonds koweïtien se sont engagés à nous appuyer pour le reste. Évidemment, comme nous sommes en Algérie, nous souhaitons profiter aussi pour solliciter l'expertise de l'Algérie et aussi ces appuis techniques et pourquoi pas financiers, parce que nous savons que l'Algérie a toujours été très généreuse envers les pays de la région de façon bilatérale, et pourquoi pas tester le multilatéralisme à travers le CILSS, ce que fait donc la majorité des partenaires, Banque mondiale, BAD et autres. Donc voilà pour le CILSS. Maintenant, je ne sais pas si je peux parler aussi de la cuisson. Bon, pour la cuisson propre, dans notre espace subsaharien, c'est un grand défi. Je veux dire, ce n'est pas la cuisson propre qui est un défi, mais la cuisson actuelle qui est pratiquée avec le bois. Près de 80% des ménages dépendent encore de ce combustible traditionnel, bois, charbon. Cette dépendance a des conséquences, vous l'avez vécu un peu au début, dramatiques sur l'environnement, la santé et les moyens de subsistance, tout en aggravant la désertification et la sécheresse. On peut identifier 3 impacts principaux. D'abord, la pression sur les ressources naturelles à travers la déforestation accélérée. La demande en bois à énergie, c'est aussi 90% de l'énergie domestique en Afrique de l'Ouest. Elle entraîne une destruction massive des forêts, réduisant la couverture végétale et fragilisant les sols, ou la dégradation des terres, qui est la coupe illégale des bois, qui aggrave elle aussi l'érosion et diminue la fertilité des sols et accélère la désertification. Selon la FAO et l'UNEPAD, 4 millions d'hectares de forêts par an sont éliminés à cause, entre autres, à cause de la cuisson du bois. L'amplification des sécheresses, c'est le deuxième impact. La disparition des arbres réduit l'humidité du sol et perturbe le cycle de l'eau, aggravant les épisodes de sécheresse. Les feux de cuisson libèrent du carbone noir, donc en poussant l'agent de réchauffement climatique qui modifie les régimes pluviométriques. Le troisième impact, c'est l'impact social et économique. Les femmes et les enfants, comme vous l'avez dit, monsieur le modérateur, qui sont les principaux collecteurs de bois, consacrent jusqu'à 20 heures par semaine à cette tâche, limitant leur accès à l'éducation ou aux activités génératrices de revenus. La raréfaction du bois augmente les conflits entre les communautés et pousse à l'exode rural. Nous avons des exemples concrets dans certaines régions. Voilà, en bref, monsieur le modérateur.
Merci infiniment, monsieur Abdellahi. Je vais à présent passer la parole à Monsieur Ali Nadif, qui est donc tchadien, un membre du CILSS, donc une transition assez souple entre ce que vient de partager avec nous Monsieur Abdellahi, et étant donné qu'il représente le patronat du Tchad, il peut peut-être nous éclairer sur le rôle majeur que le secteur privé peut jouer pour la transition vers la cuisson propre. Monsieur Ali Nadif.
Je vous remercie beaucoup. Nous, au Tchad, je rappelle qu'en 2009, le gouvernement tchadien a pris une décision d'interdire l'utilisation du bois de chauffe et le charbon dans tout le territoire tchadien. Et le but était de lutter contre la déforestation et la désertification. C'était quand même une grande solution. Le gouvernement tchadien a subventionné le prix du gaz pour le rendre moins cher que le bois de chauffe et le charbon du bois. Ce qui a facilité beaucoup plus une leçon de civisme, une éducation pour toute la population qui s'intéresse maintenant, je dis bien après 16 ans, à utiliser beaucoup plus le gaz que le bois de chauffe sur place. Nous, le secteur privé, nous avons beaucoup participé et nous continuons à le faire. Premièrement, nous avons constaté avec la forte demande de la population qui a compris l'intérêt d'utiliser les gaz et surtout expliqué par des séminaires, par beaucoup de réunions, que faites attention parce que le charbon et le bois de chauffe sont source de maladies, surtout pour les femmes. On ne voit pas qu'un homme rentrer dans une cuisine et la femme mérite quand même une certaine considération et souvent dans les zones rurales, elle est la moins considérée, l'oubliée. Elle passe toute la journée, surtout elle et les enfants. Car là où se trouve maman, se trouve l'enfant. Donc pour cette raison, il y a quand même une grande amélioration, surtout grâce au prix du gaz qui est devenu moins cher que le bois de chauffe. Et maintenant que les entreprises tchadiennes se sont intéressées à la distribution du gaz, et le gaz tchadien n'étant pas suffisant, nous sommes obligés d'importer du marché international du gaz au Tchad. Aujourd'hui, avec une chance en Algérie, nous sollicitons le savoir-faire de l'Algérie sur même l'utilisation du gaz. Si nous pouvons avoir du gaz de l'Algérie moins cher pour le Tchad, et pourquoi ne pas chercher aussi des financements qui peuvent aider à subventionner davantage, parce que quand je dis subvention, ce n'est pas seulement la subvention du gaz, même la bouteille du gaz au Tchad est subventionnée. Je pouvais dire qu'elle peut coûter aux alentours de $30 importés, mais l'État subventionne à peu près $20. Donc elle n'est vendue qu'aux alentours de $10. Chaque fois que nous trouvons des financements qui peuvent réduire le prix du gaz, tant sur la bouteille que le gaz lui-même, nous permettra quand même d'éviter surtout la maladie de la femme. Et avec les conseils, avec les réunions, avec tout ce que nous pouvons faire, j'espère qu'un jour, nous allons quand même dépasser la maladie de chauffe qui provient surtout à la femme. Et nous allons arriver à trouver quand même du cuisson propre, une cuisine qui n'est pas du tout comme celle que nous avons connue dans nos habitudes et que nous avons héritée de nos grands-parents. Je vous remercie beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Ali Nadif. C'était très instructif. And now I'm very pleased and honored to give the floor to Honorable Minister LUMUMBA. This is very nice because we've heard from Southern Africa, then Western Africa, then Central Africa, and the last piece of the continent lays in your hands. So we are very curious to know about the experience of the population in Uganda when it comes to traditional cooking and the transition towards better ways for the population, and given your stature as a woman of state, what a government can do to help this transition. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to thank the organizers for having brought this, because we look at it on the side of women, where culture placed us that kitchen to be the ones to cook. So whatever challenges we go through, the world now is looking at our challenges at that point. Usually the world looks at challenges where men are faced with, or men and women, but this one in particular, it is basically in our culture setting, it's the women. I want to say that in our culture, or in our culture setting, cooking, as I said before, is done by the women, and basically using firewood. Using firewood from the Stone Age to today. And firewood has been used by the poor community, the rural communities up to now. And science has come out to explain how it affects the health of the woman, especially the eyes and the lungs. And it is believed it's one of the causes of cancer of the lungs that women suffer. But of course there is also the component of the hygiene that goes with it. It requires a lot of cleaning the kitchen, and yet in some communities, water for home use is not so readily available, accessible to all of the people in the rural areas. So here we are now, because of the technology, because of the sensitization, because of the discussion in different rooms, which also involves women, not also as consumers of the product, but also as participants on the discussion table in the boardrooms, and also discussing also the cost of electricity. We have electricity in Uganda, most especially from hydropower, though now we have brought in, the whole country will have about 2,000 megawatts, but we are looking at having 12,500 megawatts as a country, so that we can have it readily accessible to the majority of the community, for not only for cooking but also for manufacturing and industrialization. But as we talk, also solar has come up, especially in the communities where we don't have access to, which don't have access to the hydro. And good enough, Uganda is blessed. Every part of the country has sunshine. Actually in Uganda it is summer throughout the year. There is no winter, there is no summer. It is, I mean, there is only summer throughout the year. And also wind is also an alternative, as the private investors have also put in money. But as we talk, because of the dangers that are posed to the health of the women or the girl at using firewood, at whatever age, by the way, not only adults only, government has come up with we have come up with the ways of how to solve this. We're a country that has discovered the petroleum. So as we produce, we are going to produce it massively. Already government took it up to give the women gadgets for cooking using gas. So you are given a free gas cooker and a gas cylinder filled, but then you have to refill it at your own cost. And also government is subsidizing the cost of that gas so that it is cheaper than getting firewood. Because firewood now is a distance away because of urbanization. But also there is also the issue of cleanliness. Since now people have left grass thatched houses, they now have either cemented or tiled houses, majority people. So now using firewood, in that process also firewood is being displaced. But also using hydropower or electricity, most especially from hydropower, government is subsidizing the cost of electricity to be affordable to the majority people. We used to have should I call it intermediary or a middleman in between the government that produces electricity and the consumer. But this middleman was a businessman, a business person. Of course, when we talk of businessmen in terms of the energy sector, we talk of men because the women are nearly not there. Women are only into administration and also the construction, but not in the issue of doing business in that component. So government has removed that agency because it was a private sector, and removing it meant removing the cost that they were charging, putting to the consumer, that is the consumer of electricity. And that has brought down the cost a little bit lower. But the effort is to make electricity accessible and affordable to the majority people. That is the only way we can be able to achieve. But also removing taxes from the cooking gadgets so that they are also affordable to the people. And also what we are looking at mostly is to manufacture those gadgets in Uganda so that it is cheap and easy for the ordinary person, for the good of the health of everybody, serving everybody, and making sure everybody has a better world to live in than it is today.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. That was very enlightening. Thank you. So I would like to react to what all the panelists have said today. So I, of course, work for an international development organization that finances projects that can help with the clean cooking transition. So the first thing that I would like to say, first of all, is in reaction to what Mr. Abdellahi said, we have been very active in promoting the clean cooking transition on the international scene. So the roundtable that we just concluded 2 weeks ago managed to gather some interest to finance some of its activities, regardless of the technology. Because we're fortunate, we heard from Anin Nadif in Chad that the focus is on gas. The Honorable Minister LUMUMBA mentioned that electrification for Uganda is the future. There's a lot of hydropower resources and solar. Those are all solutions that we are supporting and should support. Maybe something also that can be relevant is ethanol, also the use of improved cook stoves through pellets and briquettes that contribute to reduce, albeit to a lesser extent, but still to a significant way, the deforestation and the health hazards. The way that the OPEC Fund has been working on this issue has been twofold. First, really to work hand in hand with the countries to listen to their needs. So if we are going to be working with Uganda, we will focus exactly on these sectors that are key for the clean cooking transition from their perspective. So we don't come and impose a solution. We listen to the country and they actually guide us to bring the solution that they need. And I think this was a strong theme today of South-South cooperation. We heard a lot from Mr. Murad Ahmiya from the group of 77, and this is really how the OPEC Fund is also positioning itself to really promote development of the South by the South. So this is something that's very dear to us. We're focusing on infrastructures, of course, as was mentioned in terms of electrification, solar, hydro, and whatnot. LPG is also something that's very relevant to us, and all the other solutions. In addition to this, we also want to counter the effects of desertification and deforestation through reforestation activities. And maybe if we don't run out of time, I'd like to give the opportunity to Mr. RAPHAKA to tell us also a couple of words from his experience as Permanent Secretary for Environment and Tourism, among the many other responsibilities that he's had in the government. And this is also something that is really key for sustainable development, to make sure that not only do we promote the development of infrastructure, but we do it in a way that is compatible with the protection of the environment and reforestation. And finally, I think what might be even the most important component of our initiative, and this is really very, very relevant, especially after what the Honorable Minister have shared with us, is the empowerment of women. Because as she said, unfortunately, when you talk about businessmen, it is businessmen. And one of the reasons is that unfortunately, all too often, ladies are confined to the kitchen and are not given the opportunity to be the businesswoman that they really should be. So what we're really also trying to do with this, this initiative is to empower the women, to get them out of the kitchen thanks to this clean cooking solution, so they can be the business women that will drive the future of the continent. And I'm seeing that another lady has joined us, so I would like to give the opportunity for... ah oui, bien entendu, je vais devoir parler en français à présent. Je suis ravi de voir que son Excellence, Madame la Ministre de l'Environnement de la Mauritanie, a décidé de se joindre à nous. Donc je pense que le moment est opportun pour lui donner la parole et partager ses opinions sur la question. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Étant donné l'importance du sujet, je dois partir tout de suite, je dois voyager tout de suite, mais étant donné l'importance du sujet, j'ai tenu à dire un mot dans cette problématique malheureusement mal connue par la communauté internationale et qui n'est pas appréciée à sa juste valeur. Donc nous, en tant que pays désertique, les pays du Sahel, nous devons travailler pour faire connaître ce fléau qui frappe de plein fouet les pays sahéliens, qui sont déjà soumis à une sécheresse récurrente, une pluviométrie faible, une très faible pluviométrie, et accompagnée malheureusement par la coupe abusive des arbres et la vente illicite du charbon de bois. Donc, on lance un appel à tous nos partenaires, à l'Algérie particulièrement, pour accompagner les pays du Sahel pour faire face à ce fléau destructif qui a un impact négatif sur la désertification, sur les changements climatiques, sur les problèmes de santé publique et les problèmes sociaux. Et donc, je voudrais m'excuser. وأود أن أعتذر لأنني سأقادر الآن وبالمناسبة أود أن أقدم جزيل الشكر والامتنان لحكومة الجزائر وشعب الجزائر والمنظمين لهذا المنتدى المهم وأخص بالذكر أخي محمد اسكندر على التنظيم المحكم لهذه الدورة وكذلك حفاوة الاستقبال وكرم الضيافة الذي حظينا به منذ وصولنا لأرض الجزائر الجميلة. وأظن أن المنتدى كانت له قيمة كبيرة، قيمة علمية، وقد استفدنا من العروض العلمية المقدمة وكذلك من عروض البلدان، واستفدنا من ما قدمه البلدان في هذا الإطار، وخصوصا ما قدمه الجزائر في مجال تسيير النفط والغاز وكذلك التسيير المحكم للنفايات الصلبة، وهذا سيكون أكيد مثال يحتذى به ومفخرة لنا جميعا كبلدان إفريقية ولنا كبلد من المغرب العربي. وأظن كذلك أننا معا وبالعمل المشترك سنفضي إلى اقتصاد مستديم وبيئي، وبالعمل المشترك إن شاء الله سننجح. وأشكركم مرة أخرى والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله، وأعتذر منكم وأنا ملزمة بالمقادرة، وشكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جزيلا معالي الوزيرة، ولا داعي للاعتذار، بالعكس فاجأتمونا بهذا الخطاب الجميل جدا، ونشكرك جزيل الشكر على مساهمتكم في هذا المنتدى وبالتحديد على هذا الموضوع الهام، ونأمل إلى المزيد من المشاركة والدعم المتبادل في هذا الإطار في المستقبل القريب إن شاء الله. Donc je pense qu'on s'approche donc de la fin de ce panel. Je ne sais pas, I don't know if Mr. Thato would like to say a quick word to tell us about his experience as Permanent Secretary when he was responsible for environment and tourism in Botswana. Maybe a quick word on biodiversity and how the local communities can benefit from ecotourism and the protection of the environment for their sustainable development. And then I will give a last word to Her Highness for the conclusion of the panel. Thank you.
Majority of us have really talked about the nationally determined contributions when it comes to climate change. And I know quite well that during the climate change conferences, majority of African countries will continue to fight the European countries, the Western countries, to say we need money for improvement of our transition into cleaner energies. But I think the key thing that we really need to be looking at is to what extent are we engaging our people, our communities, to ensure that we do take care of our forests, we do promote clean cooking and so forth. And if we are to meaningfully contribute to the health of our people, if we are to meaningfully contribute to the productivity of our people in their farmlands, if we are to improve our contribution towards climate change issues, really clean cooking is the thing to go. Because it is really talking about the livelihood, it is talking about the homestead, it is talking about the key things that range from health to community empowerment and so forth. So we really need to focus on this thing and really understand exactly how best we can unleash our potentiality to move on to the right methods of cooking. I know a majority of countries will continue to say, well, we do provide rural electrification, we do provide solar energy and so forth. Even in Botswana, we are doing that. And I want to believe that in majority of countries in Southern Africa are also doing that, just as much as those other countries in West and Central Africa. And when we see the lights on in our homesteads, we believe, yes, indeed we have contributed towards that. But the key question is, have we really promoted clean cooking? When we see those lights in our homesteads, are those people using clean cooking methods? Maybe they have lights, yes, but they still continue to use paraffin stoves, they still continue to use charcoal, they continue to use firewood and so forth. These are the things that we must be grappling with. Because for as long as people continue to cut trees and reducing the forests, creating more and more deserts, and pushing wildlife, the wildlife that will actually improve their tourism activities, then we should understand that we are not doing well to our communities. Majority of people right now don't even understand that there are quite a lot of wildlife animals around them, or that used to live closer to them. Because such wildlife has been pushed far back, primarily because of the desertification issues. And again, we should understand that by reducing such potentiality, it means it affects the tourism of our countries, it affects the tourism of our communities, it does not empower our communities, and we may not easily reach the SDG goals, especially on the reduction of poverty. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. RAPHAKA. And to conclude this panel, hopefully on time, I would like to give the final word to Her Highness Princess Sophia WOLKONSKY.
Thank you so much, Lewnis, and I see Her Excellency Minister taking a lot of notes, so I think there might also be something else to say. I just wanted to pinpoint in full gratitude the fact that cooking seems such a small topic, but it's a center point for many, many different industries that we have been debating and discussing today. So we have been looking at agriculture, we have been looking at renewable energies, we have been looking at finance, tourism, many sectors and many industries that are the backbone of all our nations, be it in Africa, be it in Europe, be it anywhere else in the world. And cooking, thus clean cooking, is such a fascinating solution and opportunity to really understand and explore all the true authenticity that can come from the cultural richness that everything has to offer. And this panel alone is a very, very balanced panel, so I congratulate you for having put all the perspectives and all the points of views together, and all the participants of government, private sector, organizations, non-profits. So this is exactly the example of how one really comes to a solution. And this is only the start of this conversation, especially also with the participants of the panel. And I look forward to truly enlarging the conversations that we started today with both countries as well as private sector, as well as truly finding the authentic solutions from a regenerative point of view, to understand what is the true difference between villages in Uganda versus villages even in Romania, where we have the same problems and the same challenges, and this is not a challenge or a topic that only concerns a certain region of the world. It is concerning all regions of the world, and really present there. So I congratulate you for doing this, for the collaboration that Vakana has been able to have with OPIC, and really co-creating and developing more and more attentively to try to find the inclusion of all cultures when we try to find and actually implement, as well as finance and stabilize such solutions. So thank you, Lewnis. So maybe there's one more person that wants to say something. And
if our very strict and professional host will allow us for a last word, it would be my honor to give the floor back to Her Excellency, the Honorable Minister from Uganda. Honorable Minister, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I want to say, only 4 years to 2030. Time is ticking. We gave ourselves a time cap of 2030 for SDGs. So when it comes to issues to do with the clean cooking, it is basically amongst all the SDGs that goes to the base of our culture, to the base of our agenda. Once we succeed, this will help us succeed on all of the other SDGs. Because once you deal with the mind of a female creature, who is the base in agriculture, who is the base in clean energy, who is the best in education, the best in the home, we will be able to succeed. Even if we don't succeed by 2030, but we succeed in this area, it will be a key for us to succeed on the rest. Let's give incentives. Let's give solutions. Let's not rush to enforce, to stop whatever methods people are using. We should offer alternatives. We should offer incentives. We should pull them physically, mentally, psychologically to the end where we want them to be. Then we will have simplified the work of enforcement. But what I want to say, please, I welcome you to Uganda. Come and invest, especially in the area of energy, clean energy, renewable energy. Government is welcoming whoever has resources. And if you observe, Uganda is one of the countries that really pays. Even Kenya, we pay for energy. But where are the people with money to come and invest? Those are the people now who want to come. The rest of the policies and incentives we can't elaborate are available. Most importantly, let's diversify the economy so that we rescue land for the forest to grow. We rescue land and make the wetlands have life. Once they have life, we shall all have life. Because what our actions, apart from affecting us, they're also affecting tourism. Reduction in the numbers of the wildlife. And for those animals that were giant animals like the elephants, they are reducing in size. While as long as we reduce the size of the forest and the height of the trees, the elephants also go reducing in size so that they can be able to fit in the smaller space and in the short trees. Rescue ourselves, rescue creatures. Thank you.